Welcome and thank you all for coming out to this today. Today we're going to be going through making the move from self-service searching to customized content curation. During the deck we're going to go over four things, four key bullets. Number one, what do your learners expect? Number two, how to curate your content. Number three, how to manage the workload of curating all that data. And number four, how to measure your success. Okay? So to start off, let me tell you a little story about where my team was, which kicked us off to where we've come to be. Okay? So, someone way up on high in our firm came to our HR chair and told them, you know, I like your system, it looks real pretty, but I can't find anything in your LMS. And when someone at that level goes to your HR chair to tell you that they can't find anything in your system, that's not a them problem, that's a you problem, right? So, their point isn't wrong. The truth of today is that people today, what they all expect, what they all want, is they want you to know what they want before they do, right? And so to curate the content, to pull all that together, so when they come to your system, you're already presenting what they want to see. Who does that today? Amazon, right? When you go there, they have seasonal callouts. They have, it's Valentine's Day, but you're going in to shop for batteries or something for the house, whatever it is, but they have those content curations there on the homepage. It's hearts, chocolates, teddy bears, whatever it is. Halloween time, you got pumpkins and costumes and whatever else they have there for that. You may not have remembered that the season was upon you, but they do. And they brought it to you before you remembered to go and look for it. Okay? At this point, literally everyone is curating the data. Just think about that. Instagram, Facebook, Amazon, they're all doing it except one. Google. What makes them different from us? What do they have that our LMSs don't? Well, the answer is they know everything about you, literally. And this is not a conspiracy show, that's a different TED Talk that's down the hall there, right? What they have is they know where you live, where you shop, where you eat, who your friends are, what you drive, how you commute to work, what your favorite sports teams are, everything. They have all that data all together, right? And so because of that, they can predict what you need when you ask for it. They don't need to try to curate to you. They already have all that knowledge. Now, in my LMS, and I'm assuming in yours also, you don't have all that rich data. Most of my data is just compliance stuff. I do have some interest of like they took an Excel course, but those are the outlier points of data. So I don't have enough rich data to truly predict exactly what they want when they come to my system. So how do we work around that? And the answer is less is more. Or is it? Let me tell you another little story here. So two different approaches to this. I have this colleague, and they're really, really good. They sort of have the same role that I have, but in a different firm. We met at a convention, much like the one we're in today. And what they did was they took this approach of less is more. They have over 4,000 content courses in their LMS, but what they did, or that they could put there, but what they did is they wanted to pare that down and not bog down the learner with everything. What they did was they started at the C level, interviewed them, said, what do you guys want our learners to learn? What do you want them to see? And they went fact-finding there. Then they went out and they found different stakeholders through all different business lines, performed the same exercise there. And by doing all that together, they came up with a list of something like, I want to say, the top 50 courses that they knew from all their 4, 5, 6 months of work that their students were supposed to want based on what the higher-ups said. Less is more. They didn't launch all 4,000, they just launched those core 50. Okay? Well, I'm jealous of him. I always am, because he has a great team, he has the support. I have a great team, I have support too, that's not what I'm saying. But he has a great team, he does fantastic work. But the point is this. we didn't have the time to do all that fact-finding, all those components, and engage all those stakeholders before we had to launch the content that we had. So we took a different approach. We decided to say that maybe sometimes more is more. So we also have about 4,000 courses. We loaded all 4,000 courses in, but what we did was we then surveyed the bank, went, from the ground up, looked at all 16,000 learners, surveyed them and asked them what is it that they want to see. And our approach was this. We felt that if we were to survey the whole group, we could find out what the core interests were, what the core components were that they wanted to see and learn about, number one. But number two, by loading everything else in, we could pick up the outliers. We could help the outliers who would just go in and search regardless. We didn't want to limit what they could learn, but we wanted to curate in the things we thought they should learn. So we're calling that planting the seeds, right? These curated pages that we've developed, we've put them out there, and we'll get into that in a second, but that's starting to pick up. And then more of these content curation pages are going to develop out from there. So, with that being said, these content curated collections that we developed for the homepage, I'm going to show them to you now. Okay? So this is Leap. Technically the system is called Saba. We have rebadged it as Leap because my business, we like to rename our own stuff, just the way we do it. We have these 4 tiles here in the center, okay? Continuing development, Microsoft Office, mastering management, and risk and compliance. Each of those are the 4 main topics that our survey revealed our students most wanted to learn about, okay? So, I'm going to drill in. If you click on that Office tab, just to back up here, this is the Office tab right here. If you click on that, you go in and you see the Office, what's called in Saba a workspace. It's just an HTML page that's flat, that you can fully design and fully control, so you can give context and organization to your offerings. Remember, again, we got 4,000 of these things, right? And so you can tailor these down into subspaces. As you can see, Outlook, Excel, Word, and PowerPoint here. There's a workspace behind each of those 4, right? And the workspace also has a parallel to these 4 tabs up here. So you can navigate either across the top or across here in the center. Both go to the same place. So now as an example, if I then click into the Excel tile, this one here in the center, right? You can now see that we've curated out into different skill levels. If you're not familiar with Excel, I don't know where you've been for the last few years, but that's okay. That stuff is right here. Maybe you just want a refresher, or on the new version, what's the, now in 365, what's the new stuff that's there. Intermediate, you've been using Excel for a while. You want some more knowledge, some more data, some more training. And advanced. Advanced is your high-end data sets, pivot tables, pivot charts, all that kind of stuff. High-end functions, all that jazz, right? Easily coming to this page with 2 clicks, they can see a curated collection in an easy-to-build page. We'll get into the workload part in a second. An easy-to-build page, chunking these out to helping students find exactly where they want to go. Okay? Now we're back on the home page again. Now from here, we're going to click in, and we're going to click on the compliance page. This was one of the things that our learners said that they really, really, really wanted to get, that they really wanted to see. They really wanted to have some sense of what compliance training is going to come up next. I work for a Japanese-owned, foreign-owned bank here in the States. And as a result, we have a lot of compliance work that we have to do, right? It's more so than most banks. And you can come in Monday and you have 5 compliance courses. You get those done, you come in 2 weeks later, you have another 3. It can be overwhelming. So what we did is we took all the bank-wide ones. This is not all the compliance, but this is some of the compliance. We took that and put that into an easy-to-read, easy-to-update, easy-to-build calendar so students can come here. They can see what they want to get, right? Or what they're going to get. And even though it's not going to have all the courses, it does give them some sense of what's coming, what's on the horizon. Now if I go back to the home page, the third section, mastering management. This is for new or existing managers to come in and take courses to learn to better their management skills, okay? This page you're going to see more of in a minute, but this is the fully custom, deep dive, most complex page to build, but the audience, it's a high risk, high reward audience, as you all know. So this is a very complex page. Literally, this has embedded videos, all this stuff. We'll get into all that in just a moment. So this, of course, leads to the question, right? If you have all these workspaces that came out of the survey, and I should also add, we're going to be continuing to build out new workspaces every quarter. Because like I said, right now we're just at the point where we're just planting seeds, right? Those first 4 workspaces that are there on the homepage, those came from the survey. HR leadership and bank leadership is also going to be telling us about seasonal objectives that are going to come too, right? So as an example, when the performance reviews are going to come due in April, we're going to change out a couple of those tiles, right, to add in different ones about performance, how to fill out your performance review, how to have tough discussions with your team, how to talk to your manager about your performance. These are all topics that are going to be timely and seasonal. Think Amazon, Valentine's Day, Halloween, all that stuff, right? Seasonal content curations based on the learner's needs at this exact point in time. Okay? So, in addition to that, these workspaces have caught on with our client bases, the different lines of business throughout the bank, and they now also want us to build their own customized ones based on their own learning needs. So we've done a lot of work to get these 4 up, but now we have a lot more work to continue to iterate these every quarter and also to build out the new ones that all our clients want to have, right? So that's a lot of work. So the way we tried to manage that with the small team, but really awesome team that I have, is what I call tiers and templates, okay? We broke it down into 3 tiers, 3 templates that when we meet with a client, we say, okay, these are, basic, medium, advanced, or, basic, medium, advanced, whatever you want to call it, right? Things that are quick to build, things that take a little bit of time to build and a little bit of interaction to build, and then ones that actually do take a lot of time to build and a lot of feedback and interaction with the client as it goes through the building process. So as an example of the basic one, the Excel one was really, really easy to do. It was really, really simple. A couple of graphics. I should add that the design team that I have on my team, they're fantastic. They got an eye for this stuff. Always clean, always modern, love them. They picked out these graphics, plugged them in, hyperlinked them, and then built in those collections behind it based on basic, intermediate, and advanced. This whole page, if they had nothing else to do and no other work to perform, they probably could have had this up in about a week, maybe a little bit less. This is the basic one. This is what we sell to the clients as the basic model. This is the intermediate model. This is text heavy, not necessarily graphic heavy, right? And we have to work with the client to get some data back to build this out. We didn't know what was going to be coming up in May or September or whatever, right? We had to go to them to get that data. So that's intermediate. And like I said, this is the advanced one. You can't see it here from the slide, but if you scroll down this page, there are videos that are embedded, right? Like you go through, you're like, hi, welcome, how to manage well, coming up now kind of thing, right? That's as you scroll down through there, different graphics that are embedded, different text files. There's a survey that they can take that records the data, all this back-end stuff. In addition, we have different topics they can browse that are up here at the top left. It's a fantastic page. This took, they're going to kill me if I get this wrong, but I think it took about 4 months, 3 or 4 months to build this. So again, when the client comes to us and says they want a workspace or they want a custom content curation, the answer is, well, what do you want it to be? How much time do you have, right? And how detailed do you want this to go? So, those are the examples of the 3 templates that we use today. Now, second to last topic, how do we know what we're curating to? Well, like I've been saying, it pretty much comes down to the survey and to seasonal topics, right? The survey that we put in the field first, the update to the survey that came later, and then seasonal updates that we're going to have over time. Like I said, learning seasons, review cycles, the rest of those things, right? And so we're going to continue to survey throughout the bank every 6 months to get more data, to change out what the curation is, because as the learner's needs change, the LEAP system will also, so that it always feels fresh, it always feels alive. All right. Lastly, in business today, even in HR more so than ever prior, we really have to prove the case, right? We have to make the case for why we do what we do. What's the return on it? And so me and my team, what we're looking at are 4 different points. Number 1, we see how elective learning has changed. We check that every quarter. That's going to feed into value. We already pay for the catalog. It doesn't matter if 1 student takes a class or if 1,000 students take that class. We still have to pay the same amount of money. So the more students that take the class, the more value we are showing for the content that we buy or that we lease. Number 2, help desk call volume, right? This is efficiency. Efficiency showing that we can now train our students with less hassle to them and less support strain on our support system. It costs less dollars to train our staff. That's the efficiency. We measure that. 3, the surveys that I've been referring to, okay? Those are going to come out every 6 months, and that's going to measure the satisfaction. That's going to measure if we're actually moving the needle, if people like our LMS better, if they can find the content they wanted to look for sooner and more often. And lastly, we have Vibe. We call it Bridge, but that's beside the point. Anytime we post something about LEAP, we look at the comments. What's the disposition that people are stating about our system, about our training, about their experience? That's much more subjective, that's much more fuzzy, but we have to watch it also. So, that is the deck. That's what I wanted to raise today. Again, thank you all for coming.